Yes, sir. Through the hallway. We are back on Zoom, live from the house. Or, well, I'm actually live from the All Star game, and Rob is live from
The
Kansas.
National Championship 2008, Rio.
But John live from the crib. John live from the crib.
I'm in the crib.
Yeah, but yeah, snow and weather did not permit us to be together, but the show must go on. And here we are down the stretch.
Oh, must go on.
Miscellaneous comments or news circling as many sports as we can in a moment. Starting with Floyd Mayweather. Floyd Mayweather's comments were he is fighting at least, he plans on fighting at least 3 fights this year. Jake and Luke and Logan Paul. If Logan Paul, I believe he's supposed to fight Jake officially. If Logan Paul can win his next fight that he has, Floyd is offered up to fight him as well, to fight both brothers. And the big one, the one that's actually a story, why I actually put this in the chat, was he said that he's willing to fight 50 Cent too. He said 50 Cent, this is a winner take all though. This is actual, like he wants to box it up with 50. He said 50 said that he would fight him, but he's too small. So I guess that was the jabs that Floyd threw back. Not literal jabs, but a couple of finger jabs. So what are we expecting from retired, undefeated 51-0 or 51-0, right? Or is it 50-0 flat? 51-0. Are we counting the Conor McGregor fight as a win? 51-0. What are we expecting from him this year? Is this all fluff? Is he dropping an album?
I can't tell you what to expect, but I can tell you what I want. I want him to do it for the culture and beat the brakes off of Jake and Logan Paul, man. And knock my boy Nate out, had him as a meme. It was really bad, bro. I just need him to hold it down. POP, bro.
They put a video up of the top 10 knockouts in the last, I think it was the last year. And they had Nate at like number 5.
Yeah, man, it was bad, bro.
It was bad.
So, as far as him versus 50, I think that would be entertaining. But because of the money team situation, right? And they broke up and they was best friends. So like, there's probably some beef that they want to handle there. 50's great at beef. 50, you all about the money? Do it, man. Let's get this money, man.
Rob,
man, speaking of money, that boy Floyd Mayweather, he know how to make some money, boy. They call Money Mayweather for a reason. He know how to stay in that spotlight and draw the big checks, man. I'm excited to see his fight against Jake Paul. I think Jake Paul is I don't think he's going to be as bad as everyone thinks he's going to be. I think he actually does work really hard on his craft. I just don't think you can challenge arguably the greatest fighter of his generation to a boxing match and think you're really going to win. I don't care if he's retired or not. Secondly, man, 50 Cent, boy, I'm getting my popcorn ready. I'm trying to see that fight, man. Especially if you say wouldn't take all. Say, listen, I'm coming to embarrass you and to take all the bread. You just gonna be embarrassed on national television, man. I got my pay-per-view TV ready. I'm excited. Let me see it.
Yeah, I would love to see all of those, and no disrespect to Jake or Logan Paul. I think it's fair to say they do work on the craft of boxing. At the end of the day, I've seen Floyd Mayweather avoid punches from the best boxers. So I mean this when I say I believe that he's going to make both brothers look retarded in the ring, and that's just because of the way that Floyd fights. Floyd is a defensive fighter. You're throwing all them punches, you ain't hitting nothing. It won't be Nate Robinson rushing you with his head down. It won't be any of that. So you expect to hit one of these, pow, those punches to the chin. You thought you was clean. And then like you said with 50, that's popcorn ready. They've been going at it online. If you ask me, 50 is the better troller. Let's see who's the better fighter, because 50 has been killing Floyd when it comes to the memes. Today, nigga. Like he's been killing Floyd when it comes to the memes, saying the man can't read, all of those things. So definitely some beef there. But let's move on. Dustin Pedroia from the Boston Red Sox announced his retirement. He hasn't been able to play over the last 2 years. He had knee surgery, and he said that he can't run on his knee right now. Got 2 Yankee fans in the booth. Well, one Yankee fan and one New York fan. So John is a Met fan, but Yankee fan by association blood because it runs in our blood. However, I have decided that I don't want that. I'm actually a Boston Red Sox fan. What do you guys feel about Dustin Pedroia?
Man, I'm happy he retired. I'm tired. I'm tired of these Red Sox. The blood is still boiling. He stole the World Series from us. Mad. Bye.
John.
Oh man, memories, bro. Memories. Dustin Pedroia definitely gave a lot of New Yorkers heartaches, bro, and that created a lot of tension between the Boston Red Sox, Boston in general, and New York City. And you know, I just appreciate what he's done to continue that rivalry throughout the years. Because it's not a rivalry if you're not winning. So, you know, both teams got to win. And Boston, as of late, or throughout this decade or this century,
Yeah, take away last season. Mm-hmm.
yeah, throughout this century has been getting the better of the Yankees, and Dustin Pedroia was a part of that. So, you know,
I would even go as far as to say Dustin Pedroia was the leader in that. AL MVP. He came in as a second baseman and undersized, small, but he had a ton of heart. And I think that's what you need when you come to the Boston Red Sox. When you join that rivalry between Boston and the Yankees, I swear it almost means as much as what you can do to the Yankees is what you can do to the rest of the league. When you join the Red Sox, that's how serious that rivalry is. So he's cemented in Boston Red Sox legacy. We went on that drought. He was a part of the team that got us out of that drought, and then he also won another championship, another World Series after that. Dustin Pedroia, great player. Unfortunate, he is 37 though, so it's been time. It's time now. He hasn't played since 35. Great career. Shout out to him. John Chaney, coach of Temple basketball, has passed away. And John scolded me earlier, called him the Black Bobby Knight. So give us some insight on that.
no, John Chaney he's a legendary Hall of Fame coach. Coached for Temple for around 24 years, maybe more than that. Made Temple, which was a Division II program, turn into a D1 powerhouse, bro. Won the national championship in 1978, and from there he went to 17 NCAA tournament appearances. Went to the Elite Eight 5 times. And we talk about blackness on the show. We celebrate Black History Month, bro. He's one of those black dominant coaches that made players want to play for him. A part of those coaches, like outside of that the first era of black coaches with John Thompson. So you got to give respect when respect is due. He's very beloved in that Philadelphia area, and we thank you for all the work that you've done in opening the doors for other black coaches that come through in college and in the professional sports.
Yeah, man. John Chaney was definitely one of those like tough love. I'm gonna get on you, but just know I love you, like you're my son kind of coaches. And just one little tidbit: he was the first African American coach to reach 700 wins for his career. So like, as that's black excellence right there, man. Rest in peace to the big dog.
Big up. Switching gears a little bit. Chad Wheeler, backup lineman, we'll say. I think he was on the practice squad of the Seattle Seahawks this year. Domestic violence case where he did things you should not ever do to a lady. And I think the reasoning behind it allegedly was that she didn't want to serve him, or she didn't want to like call him master. Something in that range. I honestly didn't want to talk about this today. I'm not big on giving guys like this any airtime. But John, you did bring up a good point about how, although it has been on national circuits, it's not as big as it would have been, say, when Ray Rice was in that situation, when Kareem Hunt was in a similar situation. And those, Ray Rice, it was his girlfriend who he's now married to. Kareem Hunt, it was not. It was actually, an outsider in the situation. But still, there's no room for this. And to me, there's no room for this in society, especially in sports when you get paid a ton of money to be an upstanding citizen, and he put you in front of our children. But the guy Chad Wheeler has, and I hate saying his name because it gives it more power, But this guy has been removed from the Seattle Seahawks. He wasn't much of a factor in the first place. I hope that, he gets what's coming to him, both on a karma sense and in a law authority sense. Um, and I feel for the person that the young lady that he did this to.
Yeah, man. Yeah, Rob.
It's a really sad story. And not to harp on it too much, but like stories like this really lets you appreciate how people like LeBron James and people of that nature, like they do so much for the women empowerment movement with things like trying to promote the WNBA or really just being an advocate for equalism across all sports and or all aspects of life. So it's really sad, but I feel for the young lady, and I just hope this never happens to someone else.
Yeah, man, it was definitely a sad day and a misrepresentation of the NFL. Um, and I like how the NFL handled it and where they automatically suspended him. Um, I feel bad for the young lady and her family. And she was an African American young lady, so
Absolutely.
which kind of me just it speaks to the climate of what's going on. Like he asked her to bow to him, and then it's really disturbing news if you read that article if you have a chance to. It just shows you how people can abuse their powers, and it's definitely not something that we condone in the society, and there's no place for it in the NFL, no place for it in society. So prayers out for her and her family. And I really hope that Chad Wheeler gets help because that's something that he has to deal with as well mentally. That's a mental thing. Because he said he snapped, and then that story is kind of crazy. Well, with that being said, I'm glad that we're talking about it on the show because we have to call a spade, and wrong is wrong, and what he did was wrong.
Absolutely. Last topic, and we are very, 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 very low on time. The MLB Hall of Fame. Nobody's in. Nobody's getting in this year. Nobody's in. What's that about, John? Nobody got into the into the Hall of Fame. It's crazy. No one made it into the Hall of Fame this year from the MLB. You like the call? You disagree with the call? What's up there?
I disagree with the call, bro. Like I understand about like the steroid era and cheating, but when is there an era in baseball where people haven't cheated? When? You can't tell me there's an era and people wind up getting in. You understand what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So yes, you have to hold people to a fault to some degree, but at the same time, bro, these guys were memories. You know what I mean? And you don't want their memories to be washed away because of something that they admitted to. They admitted that they came forward. I feel like they paid their dues with that. Well, some of them did, not all of them.
No, hey, man, I'm not gonna hold you. I don't feel any way toward the Baseball Hall of Fame with their moves with the steroid, with the people that were clearly involved heavily in the steroid era. That's Barry Bonds, that's Mark McGwire, that's Sammy Sosa, that's Roger Clemens, that's Andy Pettitte. But I do look at guys like Andrew Jones, and who was monumental to the Atlanta Braves. And I look at guys like Jeff Kent, who played so many games for the Houston Astros and was solid in all of those games. And I still remember his batting stance. And Billy Wagner, the closer for the Astros as well, his career was great as well. So I look at guys like that, and I'm like, if you're not letting Roger and Barry Bonds, guys that clearly had better stats than these guys, but was convicted or in the court of public was convicted for steroid use, and many have admitted to it in later years. If they're not getting in, then these guys should be getting in. Guys like Scott Rowland, these are, and like you said, now going into what you said, John, these are guys from our childhood. These are guys that was putting up the crazy numbers that you see from the Aaron Joneses and the Carlos Stantons and all of those guys now. So you got to give them their respect, in my opinion. I'm looking at this and I'm like, when Dustin Pedroia goes, like, they're gonna be looking at him like, I don't know. I think the writers have too much power. I'll stop.
I agree, Tom. I think the writers have way too much power, but I'm gonna go the opposite way, man. Listen, at the end of the day,
everybody not a home.
Bro, baseball is like, what are y'all doing? And to me, it looks like they're just trying to save face when it was rampant amongst the entire MLB. You can't just erase that type of history. Like, these are some of the greatest players of all time. And in Barry Bonds' case in particular, the man was one of the greatest defensive outfielders before the steroids. Mm-hmm. So, like, I personally, if I was a writer, if I'm a voter, they're getting a vote in for me, man, just because like what they meant for the game, what they were able to inspire so many younger generations. Granted, it's not in the greatest way that you want to see, but at the end of the day, you still have to recognize these guys for what they did in the time and for putting people in the seats. Like, they ain't giving them money back. They ain't giving the fans the money back and none of that. They ain't taking away championships. So you're penalizing these guys for something that like they're the only ones being penalized for, and I think that's unfair.
And I think it was a culture during that time. It was accepted. So now that we want to change the rule and say that's not acceptable, it was a unspoken rule that was going on.
If you ain't cheating, you ain't trying. That's baseball go-to words.
And that's the culture of baseball. And when we talk about just people who have memories, I remember literally watching Sammy Sosa and Mark McGwire go at it, bro.
For that was all baseball was talking about, right?
That's something that 30 for 30 was monumental for me.
Yeah, I remember Barry Bonds chasing that record and getting it.
Every single home run was on ESPN.
Yeah, we also remember him looking like he was juiced up too.
Boosted up baseball ratings.
I'm not take steroids. And Roger Clemens was throwing 97 miles per hour at 55 years old.
Let me ask you this, Tom. Would you consider that era baseball's prime TV era?
Absolutely. In my lifetime, hell yes.
I would say yes, bro.
Yeah. In my lifetime, I would say absolutely. That was when the game was most exciting.
Exactly.
But I also think that's not fair because you have guys last year and the year before. Aaron Judge was a rookie hitting 50-something home runs. It's tough. You guys like Chris Bryant and Steven Strasburg that are putting up numbers that you did not see from guys like this. Yeah, they made, Andrew Jones and Jeff Kent may have hit the home runs, but those guys are both career way under 300 hitters, I believe. So like, and I will, and I'll end my piece with this. Rob says it about the NBA. It's so easy to get into. This could be one of those situations where the MLB is saying that it's going to be a little bit harder to get into our Hall of Fame. Maybe this isn't, and to you guys' point, maybe this isn't the time to start being super tough. But, like you talk about legacy, a lot of people don't know Pete Rose's legacy. They just know that he cheated the game. They don't know Pete Rose one of the best hitters to ever play the game. So they create that narrative. The young people, 10 years from now may not know of Barry Bonds' historical runs.
And last thing I'm gonna say about this, man, I also think situations like this is why baseball is one of the dying sports in America, because they do things like this, but they overlook things like in the past where they didn't want to have none of the Negro League stats count for nothing. But now they want to do it. So, like, I think they're very wishy-washy with the criteria, and that's why, for me, I think that you have people like Schilling and Clemens and Bonds still getting it. Granted, you can give them an asterisk. I'm cool with that, but give them guys a respect they deserve to get in that Hall of Fame.
Yep. What they did, what they produced, and what they did for the game.
Right.
Copy. Well, that's all we got for down the stretch. We took too much time, y'all. Maxine Waters, we're reclaiming our time. We'll give you your time back. This is 3 the Hard Way. We'll see y'all next time.
Peace.